So, good evening. It actually is a good evening. I've had a really good day. I started it this morning we went to Saginaw Bay. We went and picked Jack up, took him for a walk, and he loved it, man. He so loved it. He got to run around without a lead. He got to run around with the lead. I mean, his lead was attached for most of it, but he got to run around without being held on to or attached to somebody. He chased after some deer. And it was like, wow, there was probably about 10 deer that ran across the path in front of us. And he stopped and he stared at them for a minute, and then he went running where they were at. But he stopped. He didn't actually go like after them. He just ran to where they had crossed the path at. He seen rabbits. We seen a muskrat. I think that's what he told me it was. It was a muskrat. It was in the water. I don't know. It was harder for me to see. Anybody who knows me knows I absolutely hate heights. And I hate stairs. Stairs and hills are my nemesis. But this morning, I was feeling okay. Those injections in my ankle is still helping, but it's my ankle's still killing me. But yeah, look, seriously, I'm gonna live in pain regardless. I can't let it completely stop me. It slows me down, but it cannot completely stop me, because if it stops me, well, then I might as well just go ahead and die, because I might as well just go ahead and die. If I'm gonna let my pain control me. I mean, but it does control me to a point, because this morning we went out and we walked around, and I don't know how far, because my Fitbit, the class thing broke for my watch. It's fixed now. We got it fixed now, but the actual Fitbit itself has a little clip thingies that clasp into the band, and the clips on the Fitbit itself broke. So it wasn't clasping in, it was just like kind of dangling and flinging and going about where it wants to go. And I didn't want to break it, I didn't want to lose it, so I haven't been wearing it the last couple of days. And my friend said today, well, we'll go get some stuff and we'll fix your Fitbit. You need your watch. Because he knows, just like a couple other people know. My Fitbit controls, and it keeps track of my heart rate, my steps, calories, my distance, but my heart rate is a big one. Because my heart rate likes to do this wonky thing, and it skyrockets and it drops, and skyrockets and it drops. And I can feel it, but my Fitbit tracks it. It's waterproof, so I can wear it in the shower. And that's really when it happens, man. Like, I get in a hot shower, and my heart rate will it'll be like 68, and then it will fucking skyrocket for me. It's normal for other people, but for me, going from being as low down in the 50s and the 60s, and then it skyrockets up to the 130s and the 140s, and then it drops back down to 70. Well, I've passed out or I fell, and you can ask my ex. He's been in the bathroom with me, because I used to not trust myself in the shower. I used to have to sit if I was going to take a shower alone, because I don't trust my body to hold me up. It's dangerous. Even here, I try not to take a shower if I'm here alone. I wait for my friend to be home. Why? Because if I fall, he's going to hear me. This man can hear me if I whisper. If he wasn't asleep right now, he'd probably be hearing me. You guys can tell it's nighttime, it's late. He's off work tonight. He's sleeping for a little while. Yeah, it kind of screws up his schedule, but he's not only going to sleep for a couple hours. He'll be up. He'll be up the rest of the night with me. I took my nap earlier. I woke up and him and his sister were here. I didn't even know his sister was here. I just woke up and he wasn't in the living room with me anymore, and then I heard him talking to somebody. I was like, well, who are you talking to? He's like, oh, my sister's here. So here's the thing now I want to talk about tonight, though. Especially recently, I've had conversation after conversation with people who I don't know. Today's example would be the lady who checked us out at the store when we went to pick up some super glue, ranch, and a few other little household items. Nothing big, nothing, just typical household items. As we were checking out, I said, well, how are you doing today? You know, typical conversation you have with your cashier. Hi, how are you? Oh, well, she said, I'm not doing too good. I'm hurting really bad, but you know, that's what they make pain medication for. I said, well, I went when she would say pain medication. I said, that's what they make marijuana for. My friend said alcohol. And we all said it at the same time. So at the same time, we all three mentioned different substances for the same reason. Hurting really bad today, but that's what they make. It's what God made. Let's see what my argument was. Well, God made marijuana. It's a plant. It grows. You throw the seeds down, it'll grow naturally all on its own. You don't have to do nothing for it, because I had a brother who somebody had thrown seeds down in his backyard long time ago, and I do mean long time ago. We don't live in this house. None of us. Somebody else lives in this house now. But somebody thrown seeds down in his backyard, and a tree grew. It looked like a Japanese maple tree. Green Japanese maple tree. But it was not. It was because somebody threw some seeds down and it grew naturally all on its own and in my brother's backyard. Remember, I have 4 brothers. Take a pick. Some people don't know which brother I'm talking about. There's pictures somewhere over the rainbow. So, marijuana is a plant and it grows naturally. My friend said alcohol. The cashier said opioids. Tonight we were having a conversation and somebody else said Klonopin. No, I stay the fuck away from those. Klonopin, Xanax, Ativan, Valium. Well, I know what they'll do to me. I'll be the nicest, lovey, nicest person you ever met while I'm on them. Well, I come off of them and I become mean. But I know some people who are on them and they become mean. I can tell you some stories about people on Xanax, Klonopin, Valium, Ativan. I like to tell you some stories about myself on all. I've taken them years ago. Remember, I'm 6 years clean off this shit. Over the last 6 years, I've been prescribed a few times for surgeries, some pain medications, and I've made those things last me forever. And I do mean, like, 6 months later, I still had prescription pain medication out of 10 that they prescribed me for a back surgery, or for my hysterectomy. I had some of these one kinds of Percocet, and 6 months later to almost a year later, I still had a couple of them left. Why? Because I'm scared to death of these damn things. Honestly, let me be honest. I am scared of opioids. I understand their purpose, and I understand the meaning behind them. Like, when you come behind them, I know what they're meant for, and I know that they can help me when I'm in such bad pain that I can't fucking walk to the bathroom. I know on those days, that's was the days that I would actually be like, okay, look, man, I'm hurting so fucking bad, I can't walk to the bathroom. I'm about to take, and even then, I would take I still have some of my prescription gabapentin, and I would take, and it's only 100 milligrams comparatively to what I used to take of gabapentin. And I stopped wanting to take gabapentin on a regular basis. I stopped asking for the prescription for it. Me and my doctor had this conversation because gabapentin makes me feel drunk without drinking. It makes me feel scatterbrained, and it makes me feel weird. But in comparison to being not able to walk to the bathroom, if it can take some of that pain away, if it can ease some of that pain, well then yeah, I mean sure, I'll take one. It's my prescription. I'm not going to the streets and finding it. It's my prescription for 100 milligrams. Oh, I don't even have this prescription with me right now, guys. Understand? The only prescriptions I have with me right now are my Zenpep, my Ritalin, Topamax. I have a bottle of allergy meds, which I haven't been eating up here because my allergies haven't been bothering me. Every once in a while, I'll wake up, my nose will be stuffed up or something because the temperatures have dropped, and if the temperatures drop, then yeah, I'm going to need it because my aunt even said so the other night on the phone with me. She said, I noticed when I went into a restaurant, the air conditioning was on, that my nose started running. Yeah, I understand, Auntie. I get it. Yeah, I know my aunt will probably never see this video. So, but you guys have seen the videos where I've told you I've sat with my ghosts. My spirits that have haunted me for years. Some of them have been about 5 years, some of them have been longer, some of them have been shorter. I've sat with them right here in this very porch. I played the music and we've had our conversations back and forth because some of the songs sound like we're having conversations back and forth. This part of the song is from me to them, and then this part of the song is from them to me. If you've ever heard the Bad Wolf song Sober, it's a conversation. It's a conversation between somebody who's trying to help somebody get clean and somebody's trying to help support somebody who is using. And they're clean and they don't understand, man. They just don't get it because they've never fought that fight. And then the second verse is the person who's using, no, I'm like, man, you just don't get it because every minute of every second of every day, and those seconds turn to minutes, those minutes turn to hours, and those hours turn to days, and those days turn to weeks, those weeks turn to months, those months turn to years. But for every single second of every one of them, you remember. It's there, it's just right here, it never stops, it's all right here, it's in your memory of what it felt like to not be hurting every day, what it felt like to numb the pain, what it felt like and what it would feel like if see, here's the thing, I wasn't here a day or two, and I went walking around like the first time by myself. I had my headphones in, or I was listening to music. My phone might have been even out, just music playing on my phone. But I was walking down this very street, just because I didn't go very far. I stayed really close. And a friend showed me where the river was. I walked over to the river. I came back. I was walking down this street, coming back from the river. And a guy downstairs was like, oh, wait, you're jamming. I was like, yeah. What are you listening to? Usher. One of the Usher songs on my well, and I kept walking, and he called me back, and we were talking for a good half an hour, and we didn't mention drugs at first, not a single drug at first, not even marijuana at first, but I was smoking cigarettes at that time still. I wasn't even smoking these yet, and I said something, well, I want to go home, I want to go smoke. And he said, well, I want to go smoke weed, so I'm going to head home. I said, I invite you, but my friend said no, so I can't invite you down to smoke with me, but if you don't mind, I'll go pack something, or I'll go rolling and I'll come back down. He's like, no, it's okay, I'm okay. I have my medication. And I was like, what's your medication? Well, he uses opioids. He said, yes, but I've got to be able to move, and I've got to be able to function, and I can't do that without it because his wife has MS, and he's her caregiver. But lifting her up and moving her hurts him, and he needs something. But then he can't get the doctor's prescribed it because do you know how hard it is to get a doctor's prescribed pain medication? For people who absolutely need it, it's impossible. because we're too high risk for addiction. Okay. Well, he was the first one up here to have this conversation with me, and the cashier was today's. And me and my friend talk about alcohol a lot. Because he can't smoke right now, so to help him relax, he has a couple drinks when he's off the clock, when he's not going to be driving, when we absolutely know he's not going to be driving. And if we have to go anywhere, like I said, we went to the store, we walked to the store. Why? Because he had had one too many to be behind the wheel, and he knew it. And if he was dumb enough to get behind the wheel and something happened, man, he could lose his actual livelihood. It doesn't just affect his life, his personal life. This affects his job, which then affects his personal life. Because his job is how he pays his bills, and his bills is how he has a life. So we walked. Got me in pain. And I've been cold almost all day long. Now, I got warm on that walk, but I've been cold almost all day long. But me in pain, and him a little buzzed. Now, I've been smoking, but guys, I don't get that kind of head change from marijuana anymore. I get the body. It calms my stomach. It eases my pain. It slows my brain. But I don't get high. It's still a substance. It really is still a substance. Yeah, but because my body was hurting so bad today, I did take a Ritalin because it does slow my brain down and even more. And I've drank so much coffee today because I use coffee as a stimulant to slow my brain down. Remember, ADHD brains need a stimulant to slow them down. Yeah, it sounds crazy, I know. But they move so fast that the stimulant slows them down. Comparatively to somebody whose brain works on a normal wavelength, that a stimulant will make them speed up, I need it to slow me down. And I've drank a lot of coffee today. And I've drank some strong coffee. I've drank Death Wish coffee, actually, because I got it at the store the other day. Yesterday. And I'm the only person here who drinks coffee on a regular. And I've drank like, 5-6 pots of it today. And because I hurt so bad, I need it to help keep my brain slow. I don't want to take too much Ritalin. I just want it enough to keep my brain kind of calm. But it's another substance. I need it, but it's still a substance. But I'm not addicted because I can go days and days and days without it. I could have went today without it. It just would have made today worse. But I go days all the time without it. And I might be a little bit more high-strung on those days. I might be up and dancing and moving around and stuff on those days. But, today I needed to sit. For the most part, I did my walking, but you saw the video earlier. Oh, I might not have, but I posted a video earlier while we were out in those woods. I wasn't being all high-strung. But I did climb a 6-story observation tower. And I did that with marijuana, ibuprofen. I hadn't even taken Ritalin yet. Marijuana and ibuprofen. But then we came back and I had to sit down because, by the time we got back here, I was done. And actually I went and laid down because I was done. The 2 hours or so that we were out and about, even though I had just gotten up right before we left, I was done by 8 o'clock this morning. I had to lay back down. I had to rest again. Video made it look like I was cool. Pictures make it look like I was cool. But what you don't see is the side of me where I'm like I am right now. I'm not tired. I look exhausted. If you know me. Hi. If If you know me, what is this look? I hurt. I feel like somebody's been stabbing me in my back, right around my left shoulder blade, where it moves towards your spine. It feels like somebody keeps stabbing me up underneath there every time it fucking moves. You know how often I move my left fucking arm? Sciatic pain's pretty bad today. Muscle pain just from head to toe. I'm actually fighting off a headache at this moment. Especially looking at the fluorescent light. I would love to move back to the darkness. But, yeah, no. Shit happens. No. The things about I've talked about songs, and there's another song that says everybody's on drugs. Your mom's on drugs, your friend's on drugs, the supermodel's on drugs, the president's on drugs. Even Superman needs his fix in order to save that buzz. I know the lyrics are off right now because but it's the basic principle of the song. Actually, there's a few songs that go something similar to that, but the one I'm talking about is RX, Medicate. I can't think of it. Can't think about who sings it. I think I have it in my head, but I might be wrong, and I don't want to be wrong. The song is Medicate, and it talks about. I'm so bored today. I think I'm gonna sit around and medicate. Well, I wasn't bored today. I'm actually rarely ever fucking bored, and if I am bored, I find something to fucking do. I'll clean, I'll write music, I'll make one of these damn videos. I'll reach out to people if I'm bored. I'll go take a nap. I'll go for a walk, even when I'm hurting. I'll go pick up trash. I mean, these are all little ways for me to do something. Because I'm a born worker. I say all the time, I feel like I'm the lazy one in my family, me and my brothers, because they all four put in work. Not a single one of them is lazy. None of them. They, downfalls and all, the one thing I will give my brothers all fucking credit for. Not a single one of them is lazy. One's an electrician. One is a maintenance guy for a franchise McDonald's. One works for property management for property owners, like people, they buy houses, they fix them up, they rent them out. He's property management for that. And then the other one does a lot of odd jobs for himself. He's also spent the last year going around and what most people would consider scrapping, but he's not scrapping. He's not looking for metal to go scrap. Sometimes he picks it up if it's there, but he looks for things that people are throwing away that can be resold. He goes to these nice neighborhoods and toys that are not broken that the parents are just getting rid of. Auctions and stuff like that he can go and buy stuff for cheap as fuck. That's what he does. And he's bought it all up, and he was trying to resell it, but the universe, man, it does not like the idea of him working that way. That's not how it wants him to work. It says, and it's done this to him now twice, where it has rained. This last time, it blew his tents off. He had those covered canopy things over top of his stuff. The winds blew so hard that it blew them off of him, and then the rain came and literally destroyed so much of his shit. And then the stuff that he wasn't destroyed, he was trying to donate. And I think he ended up saying that all of it ended up getting trashed because he only had so much time to get it out of there. And the church or the group or whatever it was that was supposed to come and get it didn't. And it was a lot of good stuff that could have went to helping families. I don't know what he actually ended up doing. I'd have to go back and look again. But I know that it didn't go to where it needed to go. But the universe said to my brother, this isn't how you're supposed to be doing your work. Donate it, yeah. It's not how you're supposed to be doing your work. You are a carpenter by trade. You know how to build a home from the ground up. You know how to use that equipment to dig the foundation. You know how to pour the foundation. You know how to frame in a house. You know how to hang the drywall, run the electric, do the plumbing. You know how to restore homes. You are one hell of a worker. That's what you're supposed to be doing. Siding and roofing and framing. And you're not supposed to be going around collecting shit. That's just nothing but a burden to you. Stop. I know what you were trying to do. I know why you were doing it. Stop. It's another addiction. See, and I'm trying to make plans that when I go back down to Ohio, here, I leave tomorrow, I'll be back down there Tuesday, that I need to stop by where my stuff is at. I need to go through it because I don't want everything. I know I don't. And I've already went through a lot of my stuff, so I know the stuff that's in that I do want to keep. But there's stuff that got packed away for me that had I packed it away, I would have not kept 90% of it. This is how I know that when I said, there's no way I have that much stuff. There's no way I have that much stuff. Because most of that stuff was stuff that I was going to get rid of. And then some of it's not even mine. There should be some of my middle son stuff. There should be some of my youngest son stuff. There should be some, maybe even some of my oldest son stuff. Sons stuff. Maybe. But I need to go by where it's at. I need to go through it. One, I need to pack a suitcase so that I have something different to wear besides the same old stuff. Two, because some of the stuff that I'm wearing doesn't fit me. I'm using my bandanas as belts. And then the one pair of pants that I had on the other day is ripping. Like, where the belt loops are, where it meets the rest of the jeans, it's ripping. There's holes that are starting, and if I ignore them, I'm going to be walking down the street one day, and it's just, I'm going to be embarrassed. And I don't want that. So I'd rather retire those. I'd rather find clothes that actually are closer to my size. But when I packed my bag, I said, oh, well, these fit me well enough. And at the time, I was probably about 10 pounds heavier than what I am now because I lost a lot of weight. In the last year, I've lost 40-ish pounds. I lost 50, but I'm gaining back. But I'm gaining back in muscle, not gaining back in fat. My doctor was happy with it because he didn't like me at 180 pounds. He knew I wasn't supposed to be that big. I'm supposed to be between 130 and 140. I'm right now right around 140. Like I said, I'm gaining back, but I'm gaining back in muscle. I am able to do that because of medications, substances for some people. The Ritalin helps me give me focus. It helps some of my pain. And it lasts in my system for days. I only need one to last for days. I don't need to take 2 and 3. Some days, I could. But see, now I have everybody in my head from back down in Ohio going, but you're on Ritalin, and it's a narcotic, and you're a recovering addict, and oh my God, you're not all completely wrong. But what you are wrong is using my mental health and my medications that our doctor prescribed, that I have multiple conversations with my therapist and my psychiatrist and my medical doctor and my orthopedic doctor about this too, because, hey, guess what? Me being up and moving again, well, that affects my orthopedic, affects my bones, which means my orthopedic doctor has to do more work on me. I've talked to my rheumatologist about it too. How many doctors is that I just listed? Let's see. Psychiatrist, therapist, general practitioner, orthopedic, rheumatologist. 5. 5 doctors that I have spoke to about Ritalin and me being on Ritalin. My psychiatrist is extremely happy with my reports. My therapist, extremely happy with my reports. She likes the growth she's seen in me since I've been able to focus on my mental health to get through all of those barriers, to work through those flashbacks. I know it was hard at first. It was hard for me. Like I said, if my trauma makes you want to go hurt people, what do you think it does to me? It's my trauma. I have to live with it over and over again. It's my trauma. I was trying to work through it. There was warnings. You read the paperwork. She gave us the papers that said flashbacks, violent tendencies could happen, triggers. Yeah, how many times have we talked about that word? I hate that word. But what better word is there for what feels like being somebody shooting bullets at you? Because every time somebody does something that they know is something that can set you off, that's exactly what it's like. They might as well take a gun, load it, and shoot you, and then expect you not to react when you get shot. It's like a bullet shooting you. It's like somebody pulls a trigger. It's why it's such a good word for that experience. And because of those things, that's why so many people use so many different substances. Because the memories and the PTSDs that almost everybody who I know has some form of PTSD. Whether it's complex like mine, or the simple one where it's more one event. Or they just live in so much either physical and or mental pain that they have to use some kind of substance. Because this world is mean. So the guy down the street that has to take care of his wife and her MS, which makes her have to use something because I have EDS, and EDS and MS are both on the same list. When I see things for MS, the memes and the statements and the sayings and the descriptions, It is so close to Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. It's painful. Having compound post-traumatic stress disorder makes it easier for me to understand so many different people. So when people go to start talking to me about theirs, I say, I understand. I get it, man. I get it, man. Or woman. I definitely understand it. Yeah, it's funny is a lot of theirs is for the same shit mine is. Even people I know that have been raped, molested, physically abused, mentally abused by the people who we were supposed to trust the most. Family members, loved ones, friends. Do you know how many people I know who have given their hearts to people to have it stomped on, man? And I don't mean just taken out and crushed. I mean taken out, crushed, stomped on, dug in. I mean taking their heels and just dug into the ground. And I do mean males and females both. I'm not saying just females because it's not just females. We were kind of talking about. There's so many conversations I've had today that it's not even funny. We've talked about politics, and we've talked about the news, and we've talked about. So, me and my friend had a conversation about the presidencies and how good Trump was in comparison to other ones when it came to being the president. Okay, well, Trump did some good things. He didn't accept the money. It got to go back to the people. Cool. But see, what he did, though, when he did that, was set up whoever came in next. And everybody knew there was going to be somebody coming in next. You can only be president for up to 8 years. There's a cap. See, we need caps on more things, though. We need caps on the Senate. We need caps on the Congress. We need caps on Supreme Courts. We need caps on courts in general. There's some judges that have been sitting on that stand for way too long. There's one in Fairfield that I know for a fact that even all her employees hate her guts. Yeah, but she brings in that money for the city, so they keep her. Because she fines every fucking person that comes in front of her. Or she throws them in jail. So then $1,200 in fines and restitution and shit getting marked up to $3,000. Because then there's court costs, and there's jail costs, and there's probation costs, and there's... So, yeah, it was like $1,500, $1,800, and it went up to over $3,000. It was almost $4,000 by the time it was all said and done. Because of how much shit she adds on to. Well, it's because she gives you this as your punishment, but then your punishment gets added onto because, well, your punishment's cost. You go to jail, well, that costs money. You're on probation, well, that costs money. You went in front of her, well, that costs money. How do you think they all get paid? Out of your pocket. So on top of the fact that you're already going to pay the restitution for whatever you did, and you're going to pay the fines for whatever you did, and that's what's supposed to be paying them. Nope, now there's court costs. Now there's probation costs. Now there's jail fees. Yep. Oh, and by the way, I wasn't on drugs when that happened either. I was sober. The only medications I was on were the ones that I was on from the hospital from 2 days before. The day beforehand. I got released from the hospital the day beforehand. I was on the medications that they prescribed me. That was it. One of them happened to be gabapentin. It did. Remember when I said gabapentin makes you feel drunk? Especially when you first start taking it. till you adjust. What's funny is that was almost 5 years ago, and we're still paying on it. Well, we paid off the legal part of it, now we're paying off the civil legal part of it. It should be down to $2,600 left or something like that left to pay between me and one other person. Which one of us ever gets that money out first and pays it? I'm kind of hoping it'll be me. It was my fault. I was behind the wheel and I shouldn't have been. Even though I was doing a favor for him, he asked me to go and get coffee, and I did. And I shouldn't have been behind the wheel. It's my fault. I own it. It's his fault too. It's more my fault. I own it. But let me get back to the topic when I wanted to. Just about every person who I've met lately, and just about every person who I know, for the exception of the odd one here and or there, is on some kind of substance. Or has some kind of addiction. Oh, wait, what? Now let me explain this one, though. It doesn't have to be drugs. I ain't playing. Think I'm playing. So, what makes an addiction? Can't live without it. How many of y'all can't live without coffee? Can't live without cigarettes? Can't live without a certain kind of food? Can't live without a person? Can't live without anything that is beyond a basic need. Again, basic needs are, yes, food. But when I say addicted to food, I don't mean you eat because you have to eat. You eat because you need to eat. I mean you eat because you like to eat. How many of you are on diets? Because you have to watch just how much you intake. Why? Because, well, if you eat what you want to eat, well, it's not good for you. And I've been eating almost all fucking day long, and I'm not even joking. But I've also been taking my medicine, I've also been up and moving, and I've also been... I weigh right within my weight range. And today is one of those odd days that I eat all day long. Most of the time I eat maybe twice. And I'm up from eating once a day, because I used to be a fasting eater, which meant I would eat dinner, then I would fast the rest of the evening, all day long the next day until dinner time the next night. And then I would go hours between eating and then go to bed, and I would fast. I would not eat. For those who don't understand what fasting means, I'm sure there's some of you who might not. And now I'll eat. He comes home in the morning and he cooks food. I'll eat then, and then I'll eat in the evening. And sometimes I'll have snacks throughout the day. But today, I must have ate so much that I fucked my sugar levels up because I felt like crap for a good 2 hours. So I lay down. I was sitting out here over that way in my spot where I usually sit. I had to move my chair to where the light is. And I started feeling really dizzy. Vertigo hit me hard. And then I started feeling nauseous. And I hadn't taken anything since this morning. And at this point, it was 6 o'clock at night. I did not feel good. And because I did not feel good, I said, I think I'm going to go lay down. But I don't want to lay down in bed, because if I lay down in bed, I'm going to sleep hours. I think, can you care if I lay here on the couch? He said, nope. So I laid on the couch, and he was at the other end of the couch sitting when I went to sleep. And then I woke up, and he wasn't even in the house. He walked in a couple minutes later. No, I haven't had dinner yet. He smoked some short ribs tonight. I tasted them earlier. They were really good, but I haven't actually ate my food yet. He made this special. He calls it coleslaw. I don't know what the fuck I would call it, because I wouldn't call it coleslaw. It's not what my idea of coleslaw is. But he has apples, avocados. It's got like an Asian coleslaw mix in it. He makes it with mayonnaise, sugar. It's got all kinds of shit in it. It's got a bunch of fruits. It's got some vegetables and some dressing. All I know is I love it, and I eat it for like breakfast. It makes it's almost like a fruit salad to me. But I love it, and it's absolutely delicious. He makes it every couple of weeks. I might take some on the bus with me tomorrow, so that way I have something to eat. It is an 18-hour trip. I leave from here, go to Flint, change over from Flint, go to Detroit, change over in Detroit, go to Columbus, which is way actually out of my way, because from Detroit, it's a straight shot down 75. But now I'm going to go across east to go into Columbus, have another changeover in Columbus, and then end up from Columbus down to Dayton and get picked up in Dayton Tuesday morning. 18 hours for a 4-hour car trip. But it's going to cost us what one way would cost for a round trip. I say us, but it's not. It cost my friend what for a round trip on the bus, what one way would cost in his truck. So it's costing my friend. He's paying this. I'm not. And we had that conversation today too. About trying to figure out my appointments different if I want to come back up. Things like that, because Ohio is not healthy for me right now, but I can't 1,000% leave Ohio. It's where my doctors are. That's home, ain't it? I'm just mad at Ohio right now. My doctors told me to go travel. Up here with him, I can go see different parts of Michigan. I can go see, hey, I mean, these bus trips are taking me all around the place. My permanent address is still down in Ohio. I'm just a visitor up here. For now. We'll see what the future holds. Who knows where I'll end up? I think I know where I'll end up. But there's just too many uncertainties right now with everything else going on that I can't leave Ohio completely. No matter how I try. We give drug addicts a really hard time because, well, they're drug addicts. And there's always the argument, is it a choice? Is it a mental health disorder? What is it? Well, I've battled it, and I can put it to you this way. Every day, I make the choice to not walk down the street to that man's house because he told me, hey, I got anything you're ever going to need. Every day I make the choice to stick with my marijuana that the pain management doctors told me are going to be my best bet. And I have found work well for me. That cashier today, though, well, she gets opioids prescribed to her. And she said that she can't smoke anything. It fucks with her asthma. She's young. Good chance she might have that alpha 1 COPD too. It might just be asthma. But she knows that she can't smoke anything. And she's tried edibles and they didn't work for her. And edibles don't work for a lot of people, especially if you have digestive problems. That's why I smoke more than I try edibles because, well, I have digestive problems. I know people who have had their gallbladders taken out that edibles don't work for them. And, like, some people were like, well, what about dabs? Because, I mean, if you know anything about marijuana, then you know that there's all kinds of ways now. You see this pen? This pen right here has been flaring up my COPD. Why? Because it's a wax. And now flower has like a natural expelliant in it that when I smoke it, it clears up my lungs. So I've been offsetting, but you know, this pen right here doesn't smell like flower does. And that's what they call the bud flower. It doesn't have the same smell. It doesn't have the same. It's different. It's different. But I can also walk in the house with that pen, and if I'm sitting on the couch, I can hit it, and he doesn't care so much because it doesn't leave the smell on his work clothes. Work clothes. Because he can't have his work clothes smell like marijuana, which is why I sit out here on the front porch and I smoke. We're in a rec state. Cops don't say nothing. They don't even have cops here. They have safety patrol. It's what the side of the cars say. Safety patrol. They don't say police. But if you go up the road on the highway, it says State Highway Patrol on the side of their cars. It tells you the difference in the areas that you go to. But Detroit boy, when we were walking around there, he was talking about how angry the people were there and why the buses won't even stop. Like, we saw the man running, trying to catch the bus, and the bus slowed down and stopped, and then the bus driver pulled off, and he was laughing about his shit. He thought it was funny. That guy just needed to probably needed to ride to work, or ride home from work. You could see the heartbreak on that man's face when that bus wouldn't stop for him. And he didn't look like a bad guy. He was trying to flag down the bus so he could get to where he needed to go. And I'm hearing multiple stories like that come out of Detroit. I'm hearing about how truckers don't want to stop outside the depot. I was told that when I go in this time, because it will be nighttime most likely when I'm in Detroit, be careful. If you go outside to smoke, don't go far. Especially if you're alone this time. Last time I wasn't alone. This time I will be. This time I'm packing lighter. This time. No, I know on the way back it will be daytime when I'm in Detroit. This time I know what to expect on the way back, but this time I'm not really expecting, I might meet somebody, you never know. I'm pretty good at reading people, but my problem that I realized is, me and his sister were talking about. It's not that we don't know what most likely is going to happen. we have this really bad habit that we see people's biggest potential. I see your highest potential. And I push for it. She's the same way. That's what we were talking about. We were talking about with people from our past. And that our biggest problem is, and I said I see it with houses too. You see these broke down houses that just need some love, man. It just needs some love. You see the bones. You see the potential. And you know that with just some hard work, some elbow grease, just a little bit of love, those people or those houses or that property or that building or could be something fantastic again, or just something fantastic and just in the first place. I mean, I see it with kids especially all the time. I so see the kids' potential all the time, but I see it in adults. I see it in everybody. I see it in the people walking down the street. I see it in the people who I meet. I see it in those kids, man. And we were talking about how, you know, all of us have been through something. I said, well, you know, I had the crap beat out of me as a kid by people close to me. I was touched inappropriately by people close to me. I said, but you know, sweetheart, I don't touch your children inappropriately. I'm actually the exact opposite. I said, when I take your kids to the playground and they're playing, I'm walking circles around and I'm keeping an eye on everything because I'm waiting for the next person to come up. I'm waiting, looking, and watching because I want to know, who are you and what are you doing here? If they have a kid with them, okay, well, I don't know why you're here. You're here at the playground with your kid so your kid can play. But if you don't have a kid with you, why are you here? What do you want? Why are you at a playground with no children in the middle of the day when there's other kids around? Now, I walk past them and I look at them, but I keep walking if I don't have kids with me to go play. Why? Well, because I don't have a kid with me. There's absolutely no reason for me to go to a playground if I don't have children with me. Why? Because it's just fucking weird. It doesn't matter if I want to go play. But if I have a group of other people with me and we're like, hey, let's go to the playground real quick and let's go play. Let's go play. Yeah, I know we're adults. I know we're adults. I get it. But man, even as adults, we are responsible so often for so much. For the bills and the kids and the house and the work and the cars and the... We are responsible because we are the adults. Why do we have to always be so responsible? Why can't we go play like little kids? Why can't we find childlike wonder? Why can't we go release the feathers and the branches into the river and watch them float down? Like Winnie the Pooh and Christopher Robin. You know my favorite thing to do? I love to do nothing with you. Well, how do you do nothing? Doing it right now. And at the same time, I'm doing everything. Because I'm taking time. And I keep telling you, time is the most valuable commodity. And right now, I've done spent 59 minutes, 38 seconds of my time that I could be spending doing something else. Making this video to talk to you. Why? Because I think you're important. And I know I'm important. To some people. And maybe not to everybody. But I don't need to be. Just at the 1 hour mark. So, I don't need to be important to everybody. I just need to be important to somebody. A couple of somebodies. Being important to somebody is everything. Knowing that somebody thinks about you. Well, damn. Makes the whole difference in the world now, don't it? Well, it didn't for me. It always has for me. Because I cannot tell you how many times I have been at my lowest of lows and I was just so done. I was like, nobody loves me, nobody cares about me. Why am I here? Why do I still go on? But I got a friend down in Georgia who will randomly message me, you okay? I just got this feeling I need to reach out to you. Hey, Jake. Or my Geronimo that just knows. My sweetheart. That when I'm on these videos with you guys all the time, that he just knows when I'm getting excited, passionate, and I need to calm on down a little bit. Or like the other day when I was in the dispensary and he gave me a ride up there because it was raining. And I didn't text him and tell him, hey, I'm coming out. I mean, I could walk out to the back of the building and get into the truck. But as I walked out the door, he literally pulled out of the parking space at the same time. And I said, how did you know? I just know. I just knew. Almost like he could see through the building, but he couldn't. There was no door for him to see through to see me come out. And I'm not joking when I say I walked out the front door, which is at the front of the building, and he's parked out back where the parking spots are, and he's pulling up to the front as I'm walking. We met in the middle. Imagine if we all did that one. Imagine if we all met in the middle. None of this, you come all the way to me and I come all the way to you. None of this, I want it my way and only my way. And you want it your way and only your way. You got something that I could use, and I got something that you could use. And if we meet in the middle, man, let's come together. No left wing and right wing. Let's be the whole fucking body. That includes both wings. Let's find that compromise. Let's find that compromise. Let's understand that some people absolutely do need these drugs. It's the only way we can function. It's the only way we can be, for lack of a better word, because there is no such thing as this, normal. How about this? It's the only way we can be calm. And other people don't. And I've said this one for years. I said this for years when my kids were little, and I knew my one son really didn't need medication, but my other son did, at least for a while. Not every child who has mental health disorders needs medication. Some can get by with just therapy. Some can get by if you just teach them coping mechanisms. Others very much need medication. But that also works with other health disorders. Now, guys, I have a list of things wrong with me. And I talk about the EDS, but see, the EDS is like a blanket diagnosis. It is the main diagnosis, but underneath it comes cardiac issues, that we can't figure out exactly what is happening. But we have a good idea, and here's why we have a good idea. Because my father had cardiac issues, and my mother has cardiac issues. But see, we know I don't have the same ones on my mother because my mother's heart is too small. Or something along those lines. Things on it are too small. But see, my father's heart was the right size, but he was in congestive heart failure for no reason that we could ever figure out. His diet wasn't a problem. His sodium intake wasn't a problem. He moved. But see, my heart hurts all the time, and I've done the Holter monitor, I've done the stress test. I have an echocardiogram scheduled, my second one in a year, scheduled for Wednesday. That's why I gotta go back to Ohio. It's because Tuesday I have therapy, and Wednesday I have an echocardiogram. That's an ultrasound for your heart, for anybody who doesn't know what that is. An ultrasound is a picture from the outside to the inside, kind of like an x-ray, but it's more in detail, and they use a wand thingy, and they gel, and they usually do these for pregnant women, on babies, but for this case, they're doing it on my heart. For anybody who doesn't know what an echocardiogram is, because there's people who don't know what it is, but I've known what it is since I was 11, 12, 13. Right after Grandma died, right around when Grandma died, I started getting my diagnosis because I went for a sports physical and at a urgent care, and the sports physical guy, the doctor doing that, said, "Hey, you have a heart murmur. You need to go see your regular doctor." And my regular doctor said, "Yep, you have a heart murmur. You need to go to Children's." So we went to Cincinnati Children's. And Cincinnati Children's said, "Yep, you do. We're going to run this series of tests." And everything from an EKG that you had to lay perfectly still for like 45 fucking minutes. They took you 15 minutes to hook you up, and then you had to lay there for a half an hour for them to get an accurate reading. Well, now they read these things in under a minute. Like, they literally have you hooked up for 30 seconds and think that they can find a heart murmur that only shows up once every 3 minutes. Okay. But I know nothing. But I know what my heart murmur showed up back then. Just like the cardiologist who did the where he had me lay down and set me up, but he didn't wait long enough in between. He rushed through it. So by the time I started getting dizzy, he had me moving on to the next thing. Thanks for not taking me serious. Because I look good. I look healthy. But my heart hurts. All the time. When I go to the hospital and they do the EKGs, and then they do the echocardiograms, everything looks okay. Well, everything looked okay for my dad, too. They couldn't figure out why he was in congestive heart failure either. Until after he had his first heart attack. And they did a stent in the balloon thing. Somebody help me out with the word. Angioplasty. And they put so many stents in, and then he had a second heart attack, and so many more stents, and congestive heart failure. And then they did an open heart surgery on him to put an LVAD in, because they figured out that his left ventricular arterial device, LVAD, because his heart was failing. He was in his early 60s. They said, we can do this, and it can buy maybe up to 7 years. That at the latest, the people at that point who had had these machines put in their heart were living up to 7 years. But that he was going to have to go on the heart transplant list. And he did. He was on the heart transplant list within a year. And within another year of that, they had him a heart. Blood clotting machine. The new heart took. Blood clotting machine. 5 minutes, no circulation, or not the right amount of circulation. Brain failure. Body shut down. Multiple times they kept putting him back under anesthesia to go in and clean the chest wound. Or to cut pieces of his colon. Or 18 days that man laid in suffering. $18. We could have pulled life support a week beforehand. He could have only been there 11. We had the first family meeting 7 days beforehand. I knew he was ready to go. Other people weren't ready to let him go. I mean, I wasn't either, but I mean, fuck. He was ready to go. He was suffering. Backstory back up, though. So, the doctor who did the LVAD came out and talked to me and my stepmother after putting it in, and said that when he was holding my father's heart that he was born with in his hands, that it was soft. It was the right size. Everything looked right. But part of the reason why he was having so many problems was because the muscles were soft. And there's nothing I can do about that. Actually, me overworking my heart can hurt my heart. I need the stimulants to slow my heart rate down. But then again, my heart rate's always so slow anyways. Except for when I'm up and moving. And it jocks and then it slows and there is no way to regulate my heart rate. Except for to stay sitting. I mean, I don't know if this work either, because I'd be sitting here and my heart rate can jump up to 106. Right now, it is at 65. And it hurts. And I tell people all the time, like, there's certain spots in my heart that I know are for certain people. I know when a certain spot hurts, it's for JB. I know when another spot hurts, it's for my love. I know when another spot hurts, it's for one of my boys. But that's just me. It's just my mentality. It's how I feel. It's like I feel like I keep saying all day today. Whoever the fuck is backstabbing me, whoever's got my voodoo doll and is stabbing me in the back, can you quit? I don't know what I did to you. I don't know why you're mad. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what you're saying. I don't know what actions you're doing. I don't give a fuck. It hurts. Can you please stop? I would appreciate it. Oh universe, can you deliver my message, please? Can you see that whoever needs to see that, sees that? Please. Thank you. I love you. I am sorry for... well, I can't do it with the Julian. Whatever I did. But I'm leaving you the fuck alone. Can you leave me alone now, dude? Some people who are on drugs need to get clean. Find your sobriety. Some people who are on drugs have a reason. Leave them the fuck alone. Not everybody's story is the same. And just because you hear that somebody is on a medication, uses a medication, uses a substance to a certain degree, doesn't automatically make them a bad person. Like that cop in Miami Township when I was down there trying to help JB and save his motherfucking life. When I told him, well, I have medical marijuana in there, he didn't even ask me if I had a green card. That's what I call the medical marijuana card. No, not a green card like you're from another country. I mean like a medical marijuana card. I mean, come on, it's green, right? Marijuana is green. It's a card that they get for us. Anyways, I said, it was medical marijuana. I had to use it as medicine. I said, and the only narcotic I have is Ritalin that is prescribed to me. Well, he didn't have a problem with the marijuana, even though technically, for Ohio, I wasn't obeying the law. But I was for the Ritalin. My psychiatrist and he has to prescribe it that way to me, but he understands that I'm not going to take it that way. But he has to prescribe it to me that way because if I need it up to 3 times a day in that way, and if I ever get myself up to that level, then I have it. But I don't sell my shit. I have every fucking one of my extra pills. I asked him what I do with them. He said I can either turn them back into the pharmacy or I can flush them. Well, if I flush them, then it can end up hurting the fishies, and I'm not going to hurt the fishies. There's other ways to dispose of them. And I can turn them back into the pharmacy, and the pharmacy has safe ways to dispose of them. And like once a year, police stations and shit have this thing where you can turn in your old prescriptions. I'm going to hold off. But that cop, that police officer from Miami Township, Ohio, that turned around and looked and seen his female partner outside talking to the male who actually instigated the entire situation, and turned around and looked at me and told me I needed to stay in that house, that I wasn't even allowed to step foot outside, including onto the front porch and or the yard, because it would be a disturbance to the other neighbors for me singing and dancing, doing the same thing I do all around this town. That cop that looked at me like I was a drug addict because I am prescribed a medication for my attention deficit hyperactive disorder that helps me work through my PTSD, as I was there to help save my high school sweetheart's life, as 6 other people were there trying to shove drugs into his system because he asked for them when he felt like he was dying, instead of picking him up, putting him in a car and taking him to a fucking rehab that would have chemically detoxed him, that I had lined up. His insurance would have covered it. They would have taken him. They had open beds. 511 Center, Kindred Hospital, Dayton, Ohio. I called 5 other ones before I found that one. I spoke to this man's mother, this man's father, his best friend, who then has lied to me since because that man was in jail. Thank you very fucking much. Telling me that you had seen him every day. How are you going to see him if he's in jail? Huh. I hate liars. And I hate people who pretend that they care about somebody. Because if you actually gave a fuck, including this daughter. Yeah, JB, let's talk. If your daughter gave a fuck, an actual fuck about you, it didn't matter if you were begging for it. And she told me she had your power of attorney, she would have had you picked up by those other people in that house, put you in the car that delivered her to your house, and she would have taken you to that 511 center that I gave her the information for. She would not have shoved fentanyl back into your system on day 3, which is make or break, darling, and you would have never been in jail over these last couple of weeks. I mean, you might have ended up in jail because of the things that you were doing while you were still using. But you know what? Going to jail saved your life, even if you almost died while you were there. And I'm happy you're still alive. Maybe that's why this damn cigar won't stay lit. It is the last one I have on me. If I want more, I'm going to have to go to the store. This is the same day that me and him were talking. I was talking to him, and I said, you know, I haven't bought cigarettes since this day. Like, he was in jail. And I said, you know, that night, I could have swore you were here with me in spirit. I could have swore that I was going to get a phone call. I said, that was why I started reaching out to everybody and their fucking brother, your father, our son, your best friend, my best friend, who is also a friend of yours. Anybody who I could, that I could maybe get to come over to your house to check on you. I know they've told you. From 400, almost 500 miles away. Because I felt you here. Right here in my heart, honey. I felt you here, all around me. That's the songs were speaking. You were one of my ghosts that night. You were one of the spirits that night, man, and you really were. And I haven't bought a pack of cigarettes since. And the few times I've smoked one here and there, it's been menthols. I was never a menthol smoker. I was always full flavors. I was that cowboy smoker. We all know this. You got me on the full flavors, remember? I was a light smoker when me and you met 25, 6 years ago. So, say what you want and tell me I'm crazy. JB's still alive. I haven't bought cigarettes since. And I hadn't talked to him. And people were telling me that he didn't want to talk to me. And he's saying that was full shit. I said he couldn't have been sober if that was the case. Now what I'm betting is that there was a group of people who didn't like my way of trying to get him clean. And, well, he's clean. Maybe. I haven't talked to him in a couple of days. I still ain't buying cigarettes. I'm actually ready to about give these up. I figured out today that I think I'm going to start buying blunt rolls. I think I'm going to start rolling blunts, and I'm going to like cut them in pieces, and I want to smoke those to get my nicotine. I'm still going to smoke my bubbles. I'm still going to hit the vape pen. But see, I'm tired of being addicted in this form. Even with being able to go hours. It's not the life I want. I don't want other people to spend their money on my habits. You know, marijuana is a medication. And I don't feel bad about using a medication. These are a tool. These are a habit. These are a hindrance. These hurt me. These hurt my voice, my lungs, my mind. Yeah, they taste alright. I mean, I especially like these wood tips. And I play around with them. But I've sat here and watched myself inhale tonight. I feel it in my lungs. I'm gonna have to hit my inhaler. I'm hurting myself for a habit, for an addiction. That I broke one part of the addiction, I need to break this part of it. If I really want the flavor, well, I can get the flavor from a blunt roll with way less nicotine, because they make the wraps themselves without the tobacco inside. And I could put my weed in it. I can get my medication. And I can get the flavor from the cigar roll. Sounds like a good compromise to me. So, that's kind of been my decision. And I think after I get back from Ohio, that's where I'm going to work toward. Because I'm tired of costing my friend money. He's been good to me. He takes really good care of me. He feeds me really well. He provides shelter over my head while I'm here. Sanctuary, my oasis. He's given me time to process, at the same time as provided companionship when he is around. And I need to repay that by not hindering his dreams. Because that's what friends do. We help each other. And yeah, I help him out by I pick up around his house when he's at work or when he's sleeping, and I stay out of his way. I keep it quiet while he's asleep so that way he can sleep. We spend time together so that way, neither of us feel lonely. It is a type of help. But he has helped me way more than I could ever say I've helped him. We both show each other love in our own ways to each other. But because we do love each other, we have a connection that, well, I don't have with anybody else. Not another single person on this planet. There's nobody else on this planet that can have the title of my sweetheart like he does. Because there's nobody else on this planet that has treated me the way he does. He told me to go be top shelf. He sees my potential. He has very little from me. Respect him. Care about him. Love him. Help and not hinder. Understand. Here's the most important one. Accept him for him. And in return, he does all those things. And provides a shelter over my head, food in my stomach, water for me to drink and shower with. And it's not the same water. Entertainment. He hooked the internet up for me. He wasn't planning on doing it yet. He was going to do it in wintertime when he was going to be home. And when he was home, he was going to be watching TV more. And he did it months in advance because I'm around. He has shown me a beautiful place. And he shows me more beautiful places all the time. He tells me about a state that I never would have probably came to except for maybe to visit my niece who lives up this way. And as you guys have watched my videos, go back and watch and you'll see how I was when I'm in Ohio. how I was when I first left Ohio, how I am when I talk to people from Ohio or from that valley. How am I tonight, guys? I'm tired. I hurt so bad that I could not describe this. On a normal person's pain scale of 1 to 10, I'm at a 10. On mine, I'm only at maybe a 5 or 6, but I mean, I reserve 10s for mine for things like natural childbirth, abscessed teeth, endometriosis, and recovery from surgery. Those are 10s. For a 6 or a 7 on mine, it's when I'm contemplating bodily harm. I want to rip my... Okay, actually, I don't want to do it. Anybody ever played Mortal Kombat? Anybody know? I think it's Scorpion off of Mortal Kombat. He has this move. It's a finishing move. Where the guy will yell, "Finish them!" And he'll shoot this thing out, and it reaches in and snatches their spine out. Sometimes it's a heart. Sometimes it's the spine. I want him to show up here on the front porch, and I want him to rip my spine out. It's easier than me trying to do it myself. There's times that I want a guillotine so I can put my leg into it and just pull the cord and just let it cut off my leg. I say all the time that it's not fair that we don't have the body parts like Barbie or the other dolls that you can take their legs off and their arms off and set them off to the side for a little while. And then you can pop them back on. Just pop it back on. I want to have the bionic body parts that I can take off when I don't want to wear them. But I still want to put them back on and then them work like they're supposed to. So I don't absolutely want, what are they called? Amputees use them. That's not what I want. I want to feel, I just don't want to feel the pain. If they can perfect those biometric things where they can put the implants in you and they can stop the nerve ending shit that shoots the pain centers, oh well. I'm down for that one. As soon as they perfect it. It's not perfected. Too often doctors will tell you, oh, I can take your pain away. That's why that one doctor down there in Nevada or New Mexico or whatever got shot, because he told his patient, I'll take your pain away. Did a back surgery. Guy was in just as much, if not worse pain after, and couldn't take it, so he went in and he shot his doctor. My doctors are nice. My doctors say, we can try this. It might work. If it doesn't, we'll try something else. Until we run out of things. See, Zenpep was like a last chance thing before we were going to get into the nasties of stomach problems, because when I say I wasn't holding down fluids, I mean I really wasn't holding down fluids. I was slowly starving to death. I felt it. I was so weak. I was so dizzy. My hair was turning gray. My body was failing. I had absolutely no control. It was dangerous. I was going through the grocery store crying because I still had to go to the grocery store for other people. Well, with other people, but for other people, because I most of the time he did most of the grocery shopping, but at least once a week or once every 2 weeks or so, I needed to go and do some other in detail grocery. Plus, I had to get out of the house every once in a while. And he did make sure I got out of the house every once in a while. But that grocery store was hard. When you see all this food that you know tastes delicious, and you know how to make it, And you would love to eat it. See in this little spot right here in my hair. See how it's like thinned out? Well, it was because my hair was starting to fall out. Well, now it's thinned out now, but it's actually growing back in. It's like peach fuzzish. It's at that one odd. But I mean, that's like a year of growth. Because I went to my doctor and he said, well, how's your diet? And at this point, we had already done protein drinks, and we were already on the liquid diet. And I had changed from one protein drink to another because, well, I'm lactose intolerant. I cannot have milk-based products, but I can eat things like cheese, which is weird because we figured out, though, is that it depends on how it's made. If it's heated up, then it cooks out that lactose protein or some other protein in it. And I can eat things, certain things, that are dairy, but I cannot have straight milk. I cannot have ice cream. I cannot have cream. So my creamer is, I think the one in there now is almond based. I've tried the oat, but it leaves a funky after film thing in your mouth. I can't have hamburger that is low grade. You get that high grade, that 97% lean stuff that has like barely any fat content to it, so it's actually like a big nice steak that's been ground down. I can eat that. I can eat steak, but I'm allergic to the fat protein in hamburger or on a steak, so I have to cut all that fat off before it ever even gets cooked. It can't even be cooked in it. I will get sick, and then my pain levels will go sky high. It might actually be part of what it, because I've had steak in the last couple of days. Maybe. It's also rained. Oh, and sausages, or like hot dogs, brats, mets. Can't eat those because of the outer casing. That outer casing on them makes me sick. My stomach won't process it. So, doctor said, "How's your diet?" And I looked at him. I started crying. He said, "Non-existent. We might have to start talking about feeding too." And I mean, I'm bawling. He said, "What do you mean non-existent?" I said exactly what I said. Non-existent. No solid foods. And I can't even keep protein drinks down anymore. I can't keep the water down anymore. I'm throwing up left and right. If I eat anything, if I'm not throwing it up immediately, if I do hold it down and I think I'm doing good, 12 hours later, I throw it back up and I can tell you exactly what the fuck it is I'm throwing up because it hasn't processed at all. Now, this is after I had seen a gastroenterologist and he had put me to sleep and stuck a scope down my throat and found so much gastritis that they didn't even bother going any further and looking past my stomach, that my esophagus had funneled, and he had to stretch out my esophagus down by my stomach because up here it was okay, but down here it had funneled down to stop food from going in my stomach. So you know those gastric bands that people need to go and have. Well, my body naturally did that. My body naturally did a gastric band. My gastroenterologist had to stretch out my esophagus. Well, that didn't help, though. That made it even worse because then now there was nothing to slow it down. Now, everything hit my stomach immediately, and when it did, well, now I'm sick. And now there's nothing to stop it from it coming back up either because now it's open. All the stomach acid, everything. So my doctor said, I think I know what's wrong. Not my gastroenterologist. My primary care doctor, who I say is not a doctor, he's a healer, said, I think I know what's wrong with you. What? He said, I think you might have what's called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency. And what it is that your pancreas is supposed to produce this enzyme that goes to your stomach that breaks your food down. It like eats away your food and it breaks it down so it can go through your intestines, and the good stuff goes where it goes and the bad stuff goes where it's supposed to go, and that you get rid of your waste, but you keep your good nutrients and your vitamins and your minerals and sugars. Kind of like how insulin is produced from the pancreas to break down your sugar. Well, but this is to break down all of your food. This is why my sugar levels would be so. This is why I was more hypoglycemic, and my sugar levels were so low. But then they would skyrocket high, and then they'd shoot like my heart rate. I said, "Well, what's the treatment?" He said, "There's capsules." He said, seriously, all it's in them is pancreatic enzymes, the same ones that your body's not producing. He said, so when you go to eat, you take 2 of these with a meal and 1 of these with a snack. Okay. He said, it'll either work or it won't. What do you got to lose? What's going to happen? I'm going to do throw up again? Okay. He said, go have a good meal. Okay. So we did. One of the best meals of my life. Because we went to a restaurant called Quaker State in Loop. We sat down, we ordered food. And I pulled these pills out and these capsules. And I said, well, here goes nothing. Or here goes everything. Food got there and I took 2 of them. I ate. And I ate more than I normally ever would have. And I waited. I waited for that feeling that I was going to be sick. I waited for that feeling that I was going to get tired. I waited for that feeling I just wasn't going to feel good. I waited. And the cool thing was that outside of this restaurant, there was a biker show going on. So, like, people ride their bikes in and park them, and you get to walk around. You get to check out all these cool fucking motorcycles and shit. So we got done eating, and we went out and we walked around and looked at the bikes. And I kept on waiting. And we got done looking, we got in the truck, we went to drive home, and he looked over at me. Man, I'm talking about my ex, the one who I was with up until 4th of July, 5 years and 8 months. 5 years, 9 months, 3 days. And he said, you look dumbfounded. I said, I am. I am very much dumbfounded. I'm waiting. I've been waiting. And at this point, we're like an hour or so after the meal, and by this point, I should have done been. I shouldn't have felt good. I felt fine. Actually, I felt good. Do we have an answer? Do we have an answer? Not just an answer. Do we have a solution? Could I really eat again? No, could I really just eat at all? Because I can't remember ever, and I do mean ever, and I'm going all the way back. I mean, there was a time when I was in like first grade, and my brothers, my two oldest ones, had to come and pick me up every day after lunch because every day after lunch, they originally thought I was eating too fast, and then the teachers realized I was barely eating at all, and every day, and if they tried to make me eat more, that I would throw up. So every day after lunch, I was getting sent home. But every night by dinner time, I was feeling better. But then I'd eat again, and then I'd feel like shit again. And then I didn't want to eat breakfast because I was finally starting to feel good again. So I'm talking about back to 6 years old. I can remember my parents, my mom, my dad, my brothers, myself, the neighbors of the house that we lived in at the time on Franklin Street in Hamilton. Uh, the mom's name was Sandy, daughter's name was Brandy, and the other daughter who I was friends with was Shauna. And we all went to Frisch's that's on Main Street. It's still there. And I can actually tell you what I ate. I had ordered the chili spaghetti, and my dad had told me, he said, you're not going to eat it all. I said, well, probably not. Well, yeah, I will, Daddy, I will. No, you're not. He said, but you better eat it all. If I order you this for you, you better eat it all. I'll eat it all, Dad. I love the chili spaghetti, and I knew I did. And it came, and I started eating. Well, I was starving when it got there, man. And about 5 or 6 bites in, I started feeling sick. Daddy, I don't feel good. Oh, you better eat that. This is about the same, about a year maybe beforehand. I threw up all over that Frisch's fucking dining room. Because, he said you better eat it, and I tried to take a couple more bites, and within 1 or 2 more bites, it was too much. And I threw up, and I didn't just throw up that chili spaghetti. I threw up whatever the hell I'd had earlier that day, too. So I'm talking, I cannot think back to even that young of an age when I could eat food and it didn't hurt me. Where I would rather starve because it hurt less and I felt less sick to starve. But today I take those capsules and I can eat a whole plate full of food twice a day and a snack. If not more, today I've had like 3 snacks, 2 plates of food. I have a plate of food in there. As soon as I finish this video, I'm going to go get my short ribs. I'm going to get some of that coleslaw. That's what he calls it, whatever, that fruit salad stuff that I call it. I'm going to make a salad, an actual salad, with lettuce, tomatoes, maybe, I don't know. There's veggies in there, man. I don't know. But there's a whole bunch of food in there that he has cooked up. And I am starving. My stomach's been sitting here growling for the last 15 minutes. I'm hungry. I'm going to take my capsules. I'm going to eat me a plate full of food that he made with absolute love. And not just love for me, but love for himself and love for food and love for me. Love for his sister who came over and ate. And love for if anybody else anybody else would have been able to make it tonight. He invited other people, or he tried to invite other people. But they're all working. Or his mom and his other sister are up camping with the one sister who's here because she's got to work. So she came back, but her kids that I normally watch are still up camping with the mom and the other sister and the other sister's kids. Having family time. And her time only got cut short because work, life. But she got a couple of days out. He didn't get to go because he had to work. But he's talking about we're going to go. And I said I can't wait to go because that place sounds beautiful. tells me heaven's on the other side of the bridge. I want to go see heaven on earth. Sounds beautiful. There's a bunch of things I want to go see. Paris, Rome, Egypt, California, Carson City, Nevada, Louisiana, Florida, Georgia. Not Kansas. I don't want to go back to Kansas. If I could ever get Willie to, like, say he would smoke down with me, I'd go to Texas. Because I believe that's where Willie Nelson lives at, is Texas. That'd be cool. I'd go smoke with Willie. I gotta find out for myself, Toby. I'm sorry. You say don't smoke weed with Willie again. I haven't got to smoke with him at all. I want to smoke with him at least once. And Snoop Dogg, man. If I get the option to smoke with Snoop Dogg and Willie Nelson, they are definitely on my bucket list of people to smoke with. Gotta flick that big. And I want to say Afro Man would be a cool one. I think that's who it was. I might be wrong. Method Man? Ah! Who sings Because We Got High? It's not because we got high that we didn't do all that shit. It was because we got high on the wrong drugs that we didn't go to school, we didn't clean our room, we didn't pay our child support. We got high on the wrong drugs. Because when you get high on the right ones, you will do all that and more. When you get high on the right drugs, you don't actually get high, you just medicate. And you focus. And you want better. It makes you want to pay your child support. It makes you want to go to work. It makes you want to get up off your ass. I mean, sometimes even with medications, you still can't. Or you can only do so much. But at least we keep trying. We keep trying. But see, it's the ones that get high on the wrong shit, that all they can focus on is getting high on the wrong shit. Well, babies, y'all need to get off the wrong shit. You need to get your heads clear. You need to find the right medications for you and the right treatments for you to make you clear, to make you focused. Get your heads right. Get your heart right. Get your soul right. Get your life right. Do better. I've found my good mixture of medications to keep me calm. Doesn't mean that if you push my boundaries, I ain't gonna fight back. Push my boundaries and find out. Yeah, and that whole fuck around to find out, that's still there. It's still there. Jesse's still around. But even she's calm right now, man. Even she's mellow. Jessie, Jessica, Mama Jess. Oh, so I will do a video about why I switched my name. There's a reason. I am more than Jess. But I most definitely am a cook. So, that'll be a later date. That's a later time. Maybe during the daylight. We'll do Revelations during daylight hours. Tonight, I just wanted to talk about some drugs. Lacks of, and needs of, and wants of. I'm going on 2 hours into this video, and, well, you know, shit happened. Yeah. I ain't really been talking to a whole lot of people today, though. I have had some conversations. Politics, the weather, religions. Oh, yes, Matthew. Fuck around and find out about my religion, honey. Insult me that way. Say I only have one. I don't knock anybody who is that one, though. But I have more than one. I know there is a higher power. I know there is a greater way. I know there's a way, and I know there's a path, and I know we all have a destiny to fulfill. I know I have my own. My stepping stones and my guiding lights. Life can be great in the moments, and sometimes life is going to suck. It's going to be painful. It's going to hurt. And it can happen in moment to moment. I mean, like, seriously, you guys, I go from smiling to crying in a matter of seconds. And my friend says, well, you're emotional. There ain't nothing wrong with you being emotional. I think there's actually something wrong with me for not being emotional. There's nothing wrong with you for not being emotional. It's how you cope. Yes, we are. It's how you cope. Some people just don't know and can't deal because emotions are hard. And it takes a strong person to deal with emotions, and it takes a strong person to be able to hold all those emotions in. We're both strong people in our own way. What makes us strongest of all people is that regardless and in regards of the fact that we have both been hurt by people. Abused and used and lied to and cheated on and cheated to, and our stories are different and similar all in the same time, and yet your pain is your pain and my pain is mine, and I deal with it my way and you deal with yours. There's healthy ways and there's unhealthy ways, and as long as you're not harming yourself, well, I'll keep my mouth shut. Start harming yourself, honey. If I start worrying, well, I'll say something. This goes for everybody. I only open my mouth when I feel you're harming yourself. I expect you to open your mouth when you feel I'm harming mine. But you don't get to use past experiences, as an excuse. Because like I told that mama today, I've had all these bad things happen to me. But I don't go to her house, and when I'm with her children, and she entrusts them to me. I don't sexually abuse her children. No. I don't physically abuse her children. No. Honestly, I don't touch her children in manners that I would love to, because of the fact that in today's age, you have to be so careful. You have to request hugs. You need to do it with witnesses. You have to be careful when you're changing diapers and you're cleaning babies, and because people might take that as the wrong. I asked permission before I gave her kids baths, because some people would take that wrong. Some parents will be like, why did you give my child a bath? Well, because they were dirty. Okay, well, Sunshine had a diaper explosion. It was everywhere. It was easier to put her in the bathtub than it was to try to clean her up with baby wipes. And diaper explosions happen. She might have had too much apple juice. She had applesauce and apple juice. It might have been too much on her belly. Maybe. Whatever the reason, she had a diaper explosion. It was easier to put her in the bathtubs, turn the water on, and wash her that way than it was to use diaper wipes. Plus, it's actually more cost efficient. Diaper wipes cost more money than using water and soap. We have more. They're both cost money, but it's more cost efficient to do the bathtub. But you still have to ask permission. And what they said was, oh, please don't. Well, no, but here's the thing. This is what I do. Because of my past experiences. When I'm with your children, I am on a high alert at all times. I am watching out. I have the front door locked. If I have the front door open, I have the screen door locked downstairs because she lives in a multi-level house. So, but we spend time out in the backyard. But you have to go upstairs and then go out and then down and around. It's been in the videos you guys have seen. Well, you've seen the outside, but you haven't actually seen the way the inside is because I'm not like that. I'm not throwing people under the bus like that. That's her privacy. You've seen a wall at her house. A blank-ass motherfucking wall. You've seen her backyard. This backyard, anybody can walk by, drive by, see a backyard. You ain't seen the inside of her house. That's her privacy. That's her private spot. I don't show you the inside of this house either. It's mine and his privacy. This is where my oasis and his home. I ain't doing that to y'all. I ain't doing it to me. I ain't doing it to him. You've seen the outside. Why? Well, because you guys can drive by and see the outside anyways. I also said you're not welcome here unless I've given permission. Publicly have stated, don't come here unless you're given permission. No, you don't want to. Cool. Fuck me too. I'm making it clear though. Because, some people think, oh, well, but she filmed. I can go there now. No. You can't. I'm letting you know. My oasis, his home. If you are invited privately, sure. If you're not, don't come. Simple. No, I don't play by society's rules. It's society's etiquette. Yeah, I say please and thank you, and but no, you're not always welcome. There was a meme a while back that said how children find it completely socially acceptable if somebody walks up to them and they don't want to talk to them, they scream, ah, no, and they run away. And I'm not maybe to that extreme, but if somebody walks up to me and I don't want to talk to them, I will say, get the hell away from me. I don't want to talk to you. Get out of my face. Why? Open. Honest. I don't want to talk to you. Get out of my face. I don't have to be fake. I don't understand why society thinks that it's acceptable to be fake. Why? Why can't we be honest? You don't like me? Cool. You love me? Amazing. You hate my guts? Cool. You can keep your opinions to yourself unless you love me. If you love me, you like me, let me know. I love everybody. I might not like your all's behaviors all the time, but I love everybody. Because everybody deserves love. Even the people I'm mad at all the time. Even the narcissists. I love you. You love yourself enough to love everybody for me, but it's besides the point. I still love you. Even if you're unable to love me back. You still deserve love. It's probably why you love yourself so much, is because you felt unloved by other people, so you had to love yourself. But the problem is that you stop loving other people. The difference between somebody who has self-love and a narcissist. A narcissist only loves themselves. A narcissist will only use other people to benefit themselves. A narcissist will never honestly say, I love you, to anybody. If they say I love you to you, it's because they want something from you. I want nothing. I want your time. I want your love. I really don't want your money. I might need it. I don't want it. I make these videos as a therapeutic means for me. That's what the whole thing started. I got tired of holding secrets. The secrets were literally physically killing me. They were killing my brain. They were making me feel insane. And I've got a lot of secrets. I slowly have been releasing them. Some of them publicly and some of them privately. But this was a therapeutic release for me. This was also, I really do want to see, I want to see how far this little girl from Virginia can go. Physically, mentally, emotionally. This is my video evidence. But it's for other people to watch too, because, you know, I've been told multiple times over the years, man, other people need to hear your story. And I said, well, some people aren't ready to hear my story yet. They just ain't ready. Maybe one day, they'll be ready to hear it. One day I'll actually be ready to share it. Because there's a lot of fucked up stories, man. And there's some good ones. I went on some family vacations. But I almost promise you that something fucked up happened on every single one of them. I hate holidays. Why? Well, because let's go through this one. My grandmother passed away. My grandma, who I consider like my protector. My grandmother, who I was with her damn near every. If I wasn't in school, and then there was even sometimes after school she'd come and get me if we lived close enough. That if it was a weekend or if it was a holiday break or summer vacation, I was with Grandma. My Grandma Gladys. She was a beautiful soul. And some people hate her to guts and some people loved her. She was beautiful. I think she was beautiful. And I miss her. almost 7 years later. To this day, I think about her every day. There's a star in the sky that I look up and that's my grandma. Because to me, that star in the sky is just as beautiful as what my grandmother was. And that woman gave me plenty of great memories. I had an uncle that lived with her, and him, until he got sick, wow, I was spoiled right by him. I love that man dearly. I really need to make it out to where they live at, where he lives at with his one sister, and see them. Hopefully they get to move closer to their family, but at the same time, I keep telling everybody move out of that town. But that town might be where they need to be. But then again, maybe the people in that town need to move out to them. I don't know. But, you know, things happen. It could just be me that town affects negatively. This time I'm not going back to that town, not like that. But, she passed away the Monday after Thanksgiving. I had a friend pass away December 1st. I found out on my birthday. That one of my very best friends passed away. But he passed away 3 days beforehand. My sweetheart sister that I babysit for, though. I just found out tonight. Her birthday is his death date. So I plan to still be hanging around these people come April. And I plan on changing his death date into a celebration. I'm going to celebrate her life, and I'm going to celebrate his on his death date. I'm going to go full circle. But I miss him every day too. It took 5.5 years to listen to Leonard Skinner's Freebird because I just couldn't do it. He had tattooed on his arm Freebird. It was his song. It is still hard to listen to. I still think about him. But man, those drugs. Those drugs took that man away from his children. It made them lose any hope that he could ever get clean and be the father. The father, the son, brother, friend, possibly husband one day. But he lived like a husband anyways. But the day he died, any hope for the future died with him, for him, with him. But he left behind this legacy. Oh, Dino, Will, Jeremy, Chevy, Candace. Orion. Beautiful legacies. However they feel about that man. Love him, hate him. Wish that somebody else had created him. Wish that somebody else would have created them. Wish that his end would have ended. Wish that he... Yeah, well, we all wish. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. If onlys. But we didn't have that. What we got is he's gone. And you guys are still here. And I see and I hear the stories. Oh, Dino. Boy, don't you be fucking with me. I will make it down there soon. Stop fucking around. Candace is a sweetie. Just graduated high school. I did. Ma'am, I really did have to get that necklace. I did. She needed some piece of him to go there that day, to be there that day. So when she went to graduate high school, and I got invited to it, but I wasn't going to be able to make it, we ordered a necklace. And I can't remember what the word said on it, but it was his birthstone. And it's big enough for her to hold. And I'll love you forever, or something like that's written on it. But it came in a box with the roses that are that last forever. It's a real rose, but it's can't think of the process. but it's gonna last forever. And it came as like a little jewelry box and it's a little rose thing on top of it. But yes, ma'am, I most definitely did have to. He was one of my best motherfucking friends. We got her a couple other little things. Got her picture framed for her tassel bank and her graduation picture. Because she should be proud. Because he sure as fuck would be. He sure as fuck is. Watching from the other side. And I know he was there in spirit. But she needed a piece of him. She needed his heart hanging around her neck that day. His heart. In that necklace. I was just the delivery person. That was him. He's just saying I was just a delivery person. Because I say all the time, me and him have a relationship that not even death could take away. He was one of my absolute best friends. So yeah, I get addiction. I understand it. And I still make the choice every single fucking day to stay the hell away from opioids. To stay away from nerve pills. If I am going to drink, it is every once in a blue moon. And it is one drink. And it's usually not strong. I'll put a half a shot in. I don't want them super strong. I buy a 6-pack and it'll last me for weeks. Weeks. Understand? Weeks. If not months, man. Because I don't drink. I never was really big on alcohol, but I did get into it for a minute. When I switched from one substance to another substance to another substance. 6 years will be, I think, this October. Yeah, it'll be October. This October will be 6 years that I broke the cycle off of all of that. I mean, yeah, I still use my marijuana, but the great thing is I've gone days without marijuana. Yeah, my normal shit kicks in and I feel like crap and I do become mean. But I'm not addicted to the marijuana. I am a sick person. That marijuana makes feel better. Take my marijuana away, all my illnesses flare. My pain flares. My stomach flares. My mind goes crazy. My mouth will run. My temper will get a better part of me because, well, it is the easiest way to cope when you are living in a physical hell, which causes you mental health. So therefore, yeah, sure, you give me marijuana and I'm gonna come right back down to my nice this. But it's a substance. Just like coffee. Just like food. To somebody who's addicted to food. Just like buying stuff to a shopaholic. Just like packing shit away to a hoarder. Just like drugs. So do we understand now? Addiction doesn't only mean drugs. You can be addicted to adrenaline. You can be addicted to working out. You can be addicted to music. I am Jessica. I'm addicted to music. Right now I'm listening to the crickets. They're beautiful. They sing a very beautiful song. During the day I was listening to the birds. They have their own beautiful songs. I'm addicted to music. I have to have music. Have to. You want to drive me insane? Take music out of the world. Try it, I fucking dare ya. You'd probably have the entire fucking world going after you. There's a movie about how they tried to do that, wasn't it Footloose? Didn't work too well, I don't think so, did it? Same thing with books. Y'all keep trying to fucking take away books. Keep trying to ban the books. Keep trying to get rid of the books. Has that worked for you? Well, I mean, you want to get rid of, what is it, To Kill a Mockingjay or whatever the fuck it is that all the serial killers want to read. I'm about to piss people off. Because as good as this book has been, as many nice lessons as this book has led, well, this book has also led to many people using it in the wrong manner. So, along the same lines, you want to ban To Kill a Mockingjay, and you want to ban these other books, and you want to ban TV shows, and you want to ban... We live in a fucking cancel culture. Yeah, well, everybody knows I have a problem with the church. I don't have a problem with religion. I have a problem with the church. Especially as I walk around here and I see all these empty churches. Why are they so empty? God's so great. Church was so great. Your version of God was so great. And the church is so great. Why are these churches all so fucking empty? And I'm not just talking about here. I mean, I'm talking about literally all right. Why are so many churches being converted into other things? Why? So, anyways, let me get back to this one. You guys want to ban books because other people use them. And you want to ban music, and you want to ban video games, and you want to ban, 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 and you want to ban. Mr. Cancel Culture. Now, I get it. I think it's my generation. I believe it's my age group that's doing this shit. I think it's stupid because, I mean, seriously, I think it's our age group that fucking brought this shit into. So, anyways. You ban it. Well, no, I know the generation before us was banning these books. I got a book for us to ban. Since everybody wants to use this one particular, the book, and saying, well, but this book says, oh, it says a lot of great things. When you read it in context. In context. See, the one thing I learned about Bible study a long time ago, you know what we do in Bible study? We take it out of context. So the Bible literally gets taken out of context every fucking time it gets read. Oh, but no, it doesn't. But yes, it does. Oh, but it's got great lessons in it. It's got great stories. The stories are absolutely fantastic. They can teach you things if you listen. David and Goliath, and Noah, and Adam and Eve, and higher powers, and evil existing. Moses. Miracles. Jesus. Jezebel. The problem comes in is it's a book. It's a book of stories that man wrote. Man. He-Man wrote. Okay, well, we're going to switch words. We're going to switch words. Now, see, and here recently, here was a whole thing that there was one person who was on my friends list. She's still on my friends list. But she's been a huge Christian for fucking ever, and for the longest time, I can just overlook most of what she says, and then if I agree with it, I agree with it, because, I mean, I like the good shit. Don't lie, don't cheat, don't steal, don't kill. Love thy neighbor, honor thy parents. Even if honor thy parents means don't talk to them. Because if you don't got nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all. To them. Okay, but anyways. The rules behind it are basically good. But see, when it comes to things like there's one particular, or maybe more than one, of the Christianities that the women can't wear anything but skirts or dresses. They are not allowed to cut their hair. They are not allowed. And it's all because this book says so. Well, there's times that you need to cut your hair. I'm sorry. I like dresses and skirts and all, and sometimes. I actually want to get mine from where my stuff is at. But I'm also just as comfortable in my sweatpants. Actually, right now I have on layers. And when you're wearing skirts and dresses and shit, it's not as easy to wear layers. Some of them are made and cut to where you can't wear layers. And you freeze. I'm sorry, I'm cold all the fucking time. Do you understand how many layers I actually have on right now? I think I'm on like 1, 2, 3 layers. And there's a sweater and a sweatshirt, a tank top, underwear, leggings, and sweatpants, and my thick ass socks, or like blanket. I call them my blanket socks. It's not that cold. It's not that cold. I am, personally, that cold. When I get done eating, I'm gonna take a shower, and then I'm gonna go to bed. No, I know I can cut this video down. I'm not going to. You have the option to listen to it or not. Have fun. I hope you do. Yeah. Drugs have a purpose. Medications have a purpose. Let me rephrase this. Medications have a purpose. The problem comes in is when we become dependent on them. And we become dependent on them because, well, we don't know how to deal with our pain. We don't. We don't like to. We don't want to. Life is hard enough, and then you have to add all this fucking emotional and mental and spiritual and physical and every kind of fucking pain there is, and then when you add on layers of that pain, you have not just mental, and not just physical, and not just spiritual, but you have all of them all together, and then you're like, well, man, fuck. It just hurts. It just fucking hurts, man. I just don't want it to hurt no more. Can we just make it stop? Yeah, but do you not even realize that to the people that take ibuprofen on a regular basis like I do, it's still a substance? If it does something to you, when you take it, I also take Topamax for my headaches. I also take, and these are all, but they're not considered narcotics, and they're not addictive. So, I mean, I don't absolutely have to have them every day, but I mean, fuck, I hurt bad enough that I take them every day. I get headaches bad enough that I take the Topamax regular enough. I smoke my weed every day. It is what it is, what it is, what it is. I medicate every day to be able to have a conversation with anybody. Yeah, I realized that this mama that I'm watching these kids for, she was 6 years old when I became a mama myself. I said, you realize that? I said, I'm 10 years older than you. I said, you were 6 years old when I became a mama myself. She said, I was in my 20s when I had my oldest. She was 24. So she was the age I was when I had my youngest when she had her oldest. She was 6 years old when I had my oldest. She would have been like old enough to babysit him had I known them back then. I would have let her babysit him. She's a nice enough girl. She said, well, I was an asshole as a kid. Yeah, but obviously you would have been cool with my kid. He was an asshole as a kid. I am his mother. Y'all haven't met my mother. Ah, but some of you have. Ha ha. And to my aunties that both said, well, why are you not talking to your mother? Well, I sat in her car. I sat at her house. She opened her door, hadn't seen me in weeks, and turned around and went back to bed. If my kids show up in my house, if my kid was to show up right here, right now, if my kid was to call, bye. If I was asleep, I'm jumping the fuck up. I want to see my kids. I'm ready to start hitchhiking across fucking America to get to California. But it's unsafe. Especially for a female. But if I can make it out to see him, I would love to. I'm going to be in town and try to see my oldest one and then over the next 2 days. So, tomorrow I travel, but then Tuesday and Wednesday, my baby. I'm going to try. I am going to try. And I'm going to try to make it down to where my youngest one lives. I talk to him. I reach out to him. I attempt to. They know I attempt to. They cannot say that a mommy does not try. I try to the point of I'm fucking annoying. Hi, have you met me? I'm annoying. But I love you. And it's really simple to get me to shut the fuck up. Respond. Oh, no, because that starts a conversation, and you're like, I don't have time for a conversation with my mother. Well, the baby does. He loves talking to his mommy. The older two are just... Anybody ever heard that one song, Cats in the Cradle and the Silver Spoon? Little boy blue and the man on the moon. When you're coming home, son, I don't know when. We'll get together then. Know I have a good time then. That's where we're at. Because when they were growing up, I was busy working and running and errands and living. And I tried to spend time with them, but, hey, I was a mom. I was a mom and a dad and a friend and a sister and a maid, and I was busy. Well, now that I have all the time in the fucking world, they are in their 20s and, well, they're busy. So, cats in the cradle and the silver spoon, the little boy blue and the man on the moon. When you coming home, son, I don't know when. We'll get together then, yeah. You know we'll have a good time, man. It's a very fitting song. I love you, babies. I'm sorry. There's never enough time. Bye, guys. Love you. Thank you. Well, yeah. Good night.